It's time again for another installment of The Basics, and if you recall a few episodes back, I mentioned that if you're getting into a CCG, you need to buy a starter and 4 boosters to have a decent pool of cards to build your first deck. Some people out there don't like that, and they seem to think that in regards to the X-Files CCG, you can play straight out of the box. That is not true, and I'm going to show you today why you cannot play the X-Files CCG straight out of the box. Now, as awesome as the X-Files CCG is, it's one of those types of CCGs that you can't just play from a 60-card starter box. And I'm going to show you, by spilling out cards, to show you what's in this box. So basically, you get a checklist. You get the official rules and procedures manual. You also get the advanced rules, and this takes care of the game that includes all the cards that have that little X up in the upper left corner. Now, the cards themselves, you would think that 60 cards is decent to build your first deck. The X-Files card game starter decks, unfortunately, they suffer from a lot of doubles and not enough of the actual cards you need to build that first deck. So I'm going to show you what comes in this 60 card starter deck. Now, while you do get a good assortment of cards in the X-Files CCG starter box, you don't get enough of what you need and too much of what you don't need to build that first deck. For example, you normally get 3 to 4 agent cards, which is fine. You get a handful of witness cards, usually 10 to 12. That's more than enough. You do get a small assortment of X-File cards to choose from, which your deck is based around. You get a shit ton of sight cards, which are very important to the gameplay. You need sights to help you investigate to get to your opponent's X-File. You normally only get between 2 and 4 combat cards in a starter box. Not nearly enough. You get about 5 or 6 bluff cards. Again, not nearly enough. You can try to get by with 5 or 6 bluff cards, but they might not be the right bluff cards for your deck. And finally, you normally get between 8 and 10 event cards. Now, I've said before, in most CCG playable decks, you're looking at 20 to 24 event cards to start. 8 to 10 is nowhere near enough to build a deck on. And you can't just overcompensate with witness cards or what have you. You're also missing a card type in this starter box, which is equipment. You believe it or not, you only get 1 or 2 equipment per starter box. You get more in the boosters. And some starter boxes, like this one, you don't get any. So it's very problematic trying to start a game right out of the box in the X-Files CCG. I would not recommend it. This is why I recommend a starter and 4 boosters to give you that card pool. Guaranteed, the cards you're missing in the starter box, you will end up getting in the booster packs. I know it's disappointing to start a CCG, especially if you have limited funds and you end up getting just 1 starter box. But you need to buy those boosters for the card pool. And also, people who buy 2 or 3 starter boxes instead of a starter and several boosters, you're running into another problem because you have a lot of repeated double extra cards and not enough of what you need to build your first deck. Never start off with 2 or 3 starter decks. That's just dumb. 1 starter, 4 boosters. That's all you need to know. Have a great day.